Please be seated. We are in many ways a weary people. Literatively and figuratively, we are tired. A survey conducted by the National Sleep Foundation found that 47 million American adults suffer from sleep deprivation. That's almost a quarter of all adults. That's a lot of weary people. And it is a serious problem. Fatigue and exhaustion have serious consequences. Lack of sleep affects our physical and mental and spiritual health. It can also be deadly. 60% of drivers admitted that they drove cars while drowsy. Fatigue contributes to many auto accidents and fatalities. Sleep deprivation is a serious problem, and it has a number of causes, from lifestyle choices to work to illness to sleeping disorders. The results of the survey are very clear. Many Americans, too many Americans, both adults and children, are not getting enough sleep. We are quite literally a weary people. However, the reality is we probably don't need a survey to tell us that. Just ask someone how they are doing these days and listen to what they say. Have you ever heard people say things like, "I'm exhausted. I'm running myself ragged. I'm wiped out. I'm spent. I'm running on empty. I just need a nap. Give me Starbucks." People are tired these days, and they will tell you so. We are overworked, overcommitted, overextended, stretched thin, stressed out, and burnt out. We are too busy and we are too tired, and we will tell you about it. It seems like there is some kind of strange competition going on where we try to outdo each other with how busy and how tired we are. In a curious way, busyness has become a socially desirable good. In so many ways, we are a tired and weary people. In our gospel lesson today, Jesus addresses the weariness and busyness of his apostles. We are told that the apostles gathered around Jesus and told him all that they were doing and all that they were teaching, and apparently they were very busy. They were so busy, we are told, that they didn't even have time to eat. So many people were coming and going that they didn't even have a chance to grab something on the go. So Jesus' words to them must have felt like cool, refreshing water to people who are thirsty. For he said to them, "Come away to a deserted place all by yourselves and rest a while." How refreshing this response must have been to his weary disciples. Notice that Jesus did not respond to the apostles' reports about what they were doing by going over a new strategic plan. Notice that he didn't respond to their reports of what they were teaching by going over a new curriculum. No, he said to his weary apostles, "Come away to a deserted place all by yourselves and rest a while." In reality, isn't that really what we long our Lord to say to us? Don't we all desire to hear the invitation to come to a place all by ourselves and simply rest a while in the presence and in the grace of God? Now, no doubt our faith requires us to do certain things as well as believe certain things. No doubt we are created to find meaning and value in the work we do, especially when it is done to the greater glory of God and the service and building up of others. But our weariness in what we do and our pervasive busyness are signs that something isn't just quite right. To put it in other terms, our pervasive busyness and weariness are signs of the failed illusion that we are in control of our lives, that we are self-made people. To put in theological terms, they are signs of the illusion that we can make ourselves right with God through our actions. Since these are illusions, we keep propping them up. We keep adding one more thing to our to-do list rather than take some time and reflect on why we might be doing them in the first place. And rather than see weariness as a sign that something is out of whack, we take it as a sign that we are making headway. See how busy and weary I am? Doesn't that mean that I am valuable? Doesn't that somehow make me worthy of admiration? Doesn't that merit at least a little bit of divine favor? When the apostles gathered around Jesus, they told him all that they were doing and all that they were teaching. They were so busy. So many people were coming and going, they didn't even have time to eat. And Jesus says to them, Jesus says to us, come away to a deserted place all by yourselves and rest a while. Our Lord, Jesus of Nazareth, he knows what we need even when we do not. When we gather around him, we may want to tell him all the things we have done and all the things we have taught others. We hold up before him our busyness and our weariness as objects worthy of praise and reward. We tell him that we have been so busy that we haven't had time to eat. We haven't had time to pray. And we say to ourselves, surely all these things will prove how important and valuable we are. At General Convention, our presiding bishop told us to go. He told us to go and not be ashamed to be called people of love, to go and be people of the way, to go from that place and heal our lands, to go from that place and be people of love, to go from this place and heal our world, to go from that place until justice rolls down, to go from that place until the nightmare is over, to go from that place until God's dream is realized, and to go from this place and help us live. Sounds like a lot of busyness. Sounds like a lot to do. And in a way it is. But we are called to live out our lives that way. It doesn't have to be done necessarily through so much work and weariness. And remember that Jesus looks at us and reminds us that all that we are and all that we do are gifts from God in the first place. And when we are weary, he looks into our hearts and sees what we truly desire, what we truly need. And he asks us to lie down in green pastures. And he will lead us beside the still waters, and he will restore our soul. And he says to us, come away to a place all by yourselves and rest for a little while with me.